I've found that nothing in life is worthwhile unless you take risks. Fall forward. Every failed experiment is one step closer to success. You will fail. Accept it. But what matters most is what you do after, how you respond when life hits you hard. That's when your character is tested. That's when focus becomes faith. Ease is a greater threat to progress than hardship. That line carries more weight than most people realize. It's not just a clever phrase. It's truth earned through experience. We live in a world that craves comfort, that chases ease, that tells us the goal is to avoid struggle at all costs. But the truth is, comfort can kill your drive, your ambition, and your purpose faster than failure ever could. When you're comfortable, you stop stretching, you stop reaching, you stop growing. You become satisfied with where you are, not because you've reached your potential, but because the road ahead looks too steep. And when life gets hard, when the challenges come, and they will, your ability to stay focused, to stay locked in, is tested not by how easy things are, but by how committed you are when they're not. You see, pressure reveals purpose. Hardship reveals hunger. And struggle introduces you to yourself. You don't find out who you are when things are going well. You find out who you are when everything is falling apart. When the bills are due, when the doors are closing, when you feel like nobody's calling your name. That's when your vision is tested. That's when focus becomes more than just a motivational quote. It becomes a lifeline. It's in the hard moments where your character is carved out. When the applause fades, when no one is watching, when you're tired and it's tempting to quit. That's when focus matters most. That's where you either dig deep or drift away. Staying focused when life is hard doesn't mean pretending everything is okay. It means acknowledging the pain, the pressure, the fear, and choosing to keep showing up anyway. It's easy to stay focused when things are smooth. But what about when life shakes you up? What about when everything you planned falls apart? What about when the people you counted on let you down? Can you still focus then? That's where the greats separate themselves. That's where legacy is built, not on the mountaintop, but in the valley. The people who rise, the ones who impact lives, the ones who create something lasting, those are the people who stayed focused in the fire. They didn't fold. They didn't panic. They held their ground. They trusted the process, and they kept pushing forward, not because it was easy, but because they believed it mattered. Comfort is deceptive. It makes you feel like you're doing okay, but often it's just stagnation in disguise. Comfort tells you to settle. Hardship tells you to rise. Hardship says, there's more in you. It invites you to grow, to level up, to fight for something greater than ease. The question is, are you willing to trade comfort for calling? Are you willing to sacrifice temporary pleasure for long-term purpose? When things get hard, you have two choices. You can run from it or rise through it. Running delays your destiny. Rising reveals it. Staying focused doesn't require perfection. It requires commitment. Even when it hurts, especially when it hurts. Some of the best lessons in life are found in the middle of the storm. And if you can focus there, you'll come out stronger, wiser, and more equipped than you ever imagined. So don't fear the hardship. Respect it. Let it shape you. Let it challenge you. Let it teach you. Let it develop you. You don't grow by avoiding the fire. You grow by walking through it. And if you can walk through the fire and keep your focus, you become unstoppable. Not because the fire didn't burn, but because it didn't break your vision. Ease is the enemy of greatness. It's comfortable, yes, but it's a trap. Hardship, on the other hand, is a gateway. It's not the end. It's the beginning of a version of you that the world needs to see. So when life gets hard, and it will, don't look for the exit. Look for the lesson. Look for the strength. Look for the focus. That's how you move forward. That's how you grow. That's how you win. You're going to fall. That's not a maybe. It's a certainty. In life, failure is inevitable. Disappointment is inevitable. Pain is inevitable. But what's not inevitable is how you choose to respond when those things come. That's where your power lies. That's where your focus is either built or broken. Denzel Washington says, fall forward, not backward. Because when you fall forward, you can see where you're going. You can learn. You can get up with something more than just bruises. You get up with wisdom, with direction, with fuel. See, most people fall and they panic. They doubt themselves. They start believing that maybe the dream wasn't meant for them. Maybe the struggle means it's time to quit. But here's the truth. Doesn't mean stop. Struggle. The struggle means go deepers. It means you're getting closer to something real. Diamonds don't come without pressure. Gold doesn't shine until it's refined by fire. And your purpose, it won't fully reveal itself until you've fallen a few times and chosen to get back up. Think about it. If you never fall, how will you learn how to rise? If you never face difficulty, how will you ever build real focus, real resilience? Anybody can stay focused when everything's going smooth. Anybody can talk big when they're winning, but it's when life gets hard, when the storms hit, when people walk away, when the job falls through, when your own confidence starts to shake. That's when your focus has to dig deeper than your feelings. Denzel didn't just become Denzel overnight. He was rejected, doubted, overlooked. But he didn't let that make him bitter. He let it make him act better. He didn't fall and give up. He fell and adjusted. He fell and reflected. He fell and Aziz moved forward. Because falling isn't failing. It's only failing when you fall and refuse to rise, refuse to learn, refuse to grow. So the next time you fall, and trust me, don't waste time asking why it happened. Ask what it's trying to teach you. Ask what's inside this moment that you need for your next level. The world may see a setback, but you need to see a setup. You need to train your mind to see failure as feedback. That's how focused people operate. That's how champions are made. That's how Denzel lives. Not avoiding failure, but respecting it, using it. Falling forward means choosing purpose over pride. It means being humble enough to admit you don't know everything, but still brave enough to keep going. It means understanding that pain is part of a process, not a punishment. It means staying focused on the long game, even when the short term feels like defeat. You can't control every fall. You can't always predict what life's going to throw at you. But you can control your posture when you hit the ground. You can control whether you stay there or rise. You can control your mindset, your attitude, your focus. And that's where real power lies. So ask yourself, are you falling backward into fear, doubt, excuses, or are you falling forward into faith, into growth, into your purpose? Every great person you admire has fallen multiple times. Denzel Washington, Oprah, Mandela. None of them got where they are by avoiding struggle. They got there by staying focused through it, by walking through the fire with their head high, their heart open, and their vision locked in. This isn't just motivation. This is survival. This is strategy. Because life will knock you down. But if you've got the right mindset, if you fall forward, then every knock is another step closer to your calling. So don't fear the fall. Respect it. Use it. Fall forward and stay focused. That's how you win. That's how you build a life that matters. That's how you become someone the world can't ignore. You might think you're making progress just because you're busy, constantly moving, checking things off your list, running around from task to task. But Denzel Washington once said, "Don't confuse movement with progress." And that's a truth most people miss when life gets hard. See, in difficult seasons, the mind goes into survival mode. We start doing anything just to feel like we're not falling apart. We stay active, not aligned. We hustle, we grind, we move, but we're not really going anywhere that matters. And in times like that, focus becomes a lost art. Because when everything around you feels unstable, it's easy to latch on to distractions just to feel some sense of control. But progress isn't about speed. It's about direction. It's about the intention. Ask yourself, what are you really focused on? Are you chasing noise or purpose? Are you moving toward your vision? Or are you just trying not to feel stuck? Because real progress, especially in hard times, requires more than just doing. It demands clarity. It demands purpose. And most of all, it demands discipline. Denzel didn't say this for nothing. His words are rooted in experience, not just inspiration. He knows what it means to wait, to struggle, to be misunderstood, and to feel overlooked. But he also knows that progress is about building step by step. It's not flashy. It's not always seen. It's slow, quiet, deliberate. While the world is loud and chaotic, progress is peaceful. You don't need to move fast. You need to move right. And the right move isn't always the one people applaud. It's the one that's in alignment with who you are and where you're going. Life is going to come at you hard. Disappointments, setbacks, delays, they will shake your focus. That's the moment you want to grab onto anything that gives you the illusion of control. You'll check your phone 10 times an hour. You'll say yes to things just to feel useful. You'll work on 5 things at once, but complete none. That's not progress. That's motion without purpose. And if you stay there too long, you burn out. You lose yourself in the noise. You forget what you're even fighting for. What you need is focus rooted in faith. Not faith that everything will be perfect, but faith that every step, when intentional, is leading somewhere greater. Focus doesn't mean doing one thing forever. It means choosing what matters most and giving it your best energy. It means saying no to good things so you can say yes. And in the chaos of hardship, focus becomes your anchor. Ask yourself, am I reacting or am I responding? Am I moving because I'm afraid to sit still, or am I moving because I know where I'm headed? True focus doesn't rush. It doesn't panic. It centers itself on a deeper vision. And the beautiful thing is, you don't need a perfect plan to focus. You just need to decide what matters and keep your eyes on it, step by step. Think about the seed in the soil. It's buried, hidden, and in the dark. But it's not dead. It's growing. You can't see the progress, but it's happening underground. That's what real progress looks like when life is hard. It's not Instagrammable. It's not loud, but it's real. It's becoming something greater in silence. You may not see the fruit today, but you're planting it with your focus. Movement without direction wastes energy, but focused movement builds legacy. You weren't called to be busy. You weren't called to be effective. And effectiveness doesn't come from doing everything. It comes from doing the right time with right heart. So when life gets tough, don't run in circles. Don't fill the silence just to feel active. Pause, get clear, and ask yourself, is this movement leading to progress? Or am I just avoiding the stillness? Because the stillness, that quiet space where you get honest with yourself, is where focus is born. And when you find that focus, even in the fire, you'll move with intention. And that kind of movement, that's what changes everything. When life tests you, when the noise is loud and everything feels uncertain, there are two things that will never betray you: faith and discipline. These are the anchors that hold you steady when the winds of adversity try to blow you off course. Faith is believing in something greater than yourself, something you can't always see, but you know is there. Discipline is your response to that belief. It's how you show up day after day, especially when things don't feel good, when results are slow, when you're tired, hurt, or discouraged. And the truth is, that's when it matters the most. Everybody wants to stay focused when life is good, when the sun is shining, the money is flowing, and the plans are working. That's easy. But when life gets hard, when people leave, when doors close, when you hear no more than yes, that's when your true character is revealed. That's where discipline steps in, when motivation can't carry you. Because motivation is temporary. It comes and goes like the weather. But discipline is a choice. It's the decision to show up when you don't feel like it. It's getting up early when no one's watching. It's doing the work when no one is clapping. That's what separates the committed from the casual. You see, a lot of people pray for success, pray for strength, pray for purpose, but they don't want the struggle that comes with it. They want the reward without the grind. But there is no growth without resistance. The weight's supposed to be heavy. The challenge is supposed to be uncomfortable, because that's what builds you. You want to stay focused when life gets hard. Then you need a reason that's bigger than your pain. Faith gives you that reason. Faith reminds you that your pain has a purpose, that you're not suffering for nothing, that the mountain has a view worth the climb. Sometimes you won't see the results right away. Sometimes you'll put in the work. Stay disciplined, keep the faith, and nothing will seem to change. But don't let that fool you. Growth happens in silence. Progress is often invisible. Just because you don't see the fruit yet doesn't mean the roots aren't growing. That's where faith comes in. Faith is what helps you push through the invisible seasons, quiet seasons, the painful seasons. It keeps you from giving up just before the breakthrough. And here's the thing, discipline isn't glamorous. It's not flashy. It's not about Instagram posts or YouTube highlights. It's about being consistent when no one else cares. It's waking up and doing what needs to be done because you said you would. Because you made a commitment, not just to others, but to yourself. When you stay disciplined, even in the storm, you're telling life, You can hit me, you can hurt me, but you can't have me. I'm not giving up. But none of this works without faith. Because when you hit rock bottom, when the discipline starts to feel like suffering, you need a reason to keep going. You need something eternal to lean on. And for me, that's always been faith. Faith in God, faith in purpose, faith that this pain is preparing me for something greater. That there is something on the other side of this valley. When you combine discipline with faith, you become dangerous. You become unstoppable. Life will still hit you. People will still doubt you. You'll be rooted. You'll be grounded. And while the world chases comfort, you'll chase calling. While others give up when it gets hard, you'll rise. Not because it's easy, but because you're focused. Because you've trained your mind, your body, and your spirit to stay locked in. Even when everything around you is falling apart. That's how you survive the hard times. That's how you rise from the ashes. That's how you win quietly, consistently, with faith in your heart and discipline in your hands. Your conviction has to be stronger than your condition. That means no matter what's going on around you, the stress, the setbacks, the failures, the rejections, your belief in what you're doing, and more importantly, who you are, has to be louder than all of it. Life is not going to make it easy for you. You will be tested emotionally, mentally, spiritually. But when your conviction is deep, when it's rooted in something greater than your current circumstances, you don't fold, you don't retreat, you rise. You see, people often wait for the conditions to be perfect. They say, I'll focus when things calm down, or I'll give it my all when I'm not going through so much. But life doesn't wait for you to feel ready. It doesn't pause for you to catch your breath. Life keeps moving. And if your conviction doesn't outlast your condition, you'll stay stuck. You'll start something, then stop when it gets hard. You'll make promises to yourself you never keep. And eventually, you begin to believe the lie that maybe this isn't for you. But let me tell you, the ones who make it, the ones who achieve something meaningful, they do so despite their conditions. Not because everything was perfect, but because that what they were called to do mattered more than what they were going through. Conviction is a decision. It's not a feeling. Feelings change. One moment you're inspired, the next you're tired, overwhelmed, doubting yourself. But conviction doesn't care how you feel. It's what drives you to get up when no one's clapping, when no one believes in you, when the bank account is low, when the doors keep closing, when life is pushing back hard. Conviction says, I'm not doing this because it's easy. I'm doing this because it's who I am. You don't need perfect timing. You need persistence. You don't need ideal support. You need inner strength. That comes from conviction, a knowing deep inside that you're not just here to exist, you're here to do something. And whatever that something is, whether it's raising a child right, building a business, healing from your past, chasing a dream that scares you, it requires you to be committed beyond what's convenient. Because the moment it stops being convenient, most people quit. But those with conviction, they endure, they adapt, they learn, they fall, but they fall forward. Think of every great figure in history, in sports, in art, in leadership. They all faced conditions that could have broken them. They all had moments where they could have said, This is too much. But they stayed locked in because their conviction was louder than their conditions. They saw something that wasn't visible yet, and they worked for it like it was already theirs. That's focus. That's belief. That's power. So when life gets hard, and it will, don't shrink your dreams to match your pain. Expand your mindset to match your purpose. Stop saying, I'll try, must. Speak from conviction. Walk with conviction. Show up like you were chosen for it, because you were. You weren't placed here to be average. You weren't given your vision by accident. And if you've got breath in your lungs, you've got the ability to fight for it. Yes, life will test you. But tests aren't here to destroy you. They're here to prove you. And you've already got what it takes. But you've got to be all in. You've got to decide that no matter what your condition is, heartbroken, tired, discouraged, your conviction remains unshaken. That's how you stay focused when life gets hard. You remember who you are. You remember why you started. And you keep moving forward, not because it's easy, but because it's worth it.